So we're still looking at onomastics, the study of names and historical linguistics, and to prove whether the Bible is true. And it's interesting that there are many books that have many inconsistencies. I'm going to share with you just the book of Mormon. It's claimed to come from the ancient Americas, 600 BC to 400 AD, but the book includes names like Nephi, Laman, and Moroni, which are not found in any known Egyptian or Native American linguistic tradition. So this makes the book sus. Many argue that these names indicate 19th century fabrications. The name Zerahemia, for instance, also appears linguistically unsupported by Semitic or indigenous etymology. So there's another book that's sus, and those are the apocryphal gospels. So this is why these weren't allowed into the canon, such as the Gospel of Thomas and the Gospel of Peter. They claim to be from the 1st, 2nd century AD, but the names of the people are vague, stylized, and also very generic. For instance, the Gospel of Peter uses things that just don't sound right. For instance, it says the Lord repeatedly, which without ever naming Jesus, which goes against 1st century Judea, where name disambiguation was culturally necessary. That's why we know him as Jesus of Nazareth. They always located the person by either their profession or the era that they came from. So we see that a lot of these texts lack the accurate era-specific name distribution seen in the Judean texts. There's another one known as the Quran. It's claimed to come from 7th century Arabia, referring to events across biblical history. But something that personally was a major shock to me, and I'll do a video on this, but names like Mary and Jesus are used, but they reflect later Arabic adaptations of names, not what these individuals would have been called in their original historical context. Another thing that's very confusing is that Miriam is used for the mother of Jesus, but is confused with Miriam as in the sister of Moses. They call this an anachronism. So it's misplacing things in different times that don't fit together, basically. Another thing is we also see that Haman is placed in Egypt as a servant of Pharaoh, yet Haman is a Persian name. So there's another mismatch. And this goes to prove that you can actually look at the naming conventions within a document of antiquity or a religious text to see, is the author being truthful? Is the authorship dependable, and can you trust the validity of these documents? And I've just given you 3 examples where you simply cannot, simply by looking at the names and how mixed up it is. So that's worth a thought.